doing a cooking video! Now that I've gotten that out, I'm doing the first episode of my summer DIY series, which is super exciting. This is episode 1, where I'm going to be showing you guys some really yummy and delicious, easy to make, healthy summer snacks for summer. And I don't feel like talking that much in this intro today, so let's just get right into it. Before we actually start cooking, I'm just going to put my hair up into a ponytail so that I don't get any hair in my food. Ta-da! Alright, let's get right on to the first recipe.
So for the first recipe, which is homemade lemonade, you are just going to need some water, some lemons, and some sugar. So first you're going to start by measuring out equal parts of sugar and water and placing that into a saucepan. So I just measured out 1 cup of sugar and 1 cup of water and brought that over to my stovetop. Once it's on your stovetop, just bring it up to a medium heat and stir it around until the sugar melts, and it shouldn't take that long, and it should just look like this once you're done. And then bring it off the heat. Next, we're going to start with our lemons. So I just cut 3 lemons in half, and then I juiced all of those halves.
This is so hard!
Next, go ahead and pour that lemon juice into any container that you like, and go ahead and start filling it up with water. We just wanted to dilute the lemon solution so that it's not so tangy and not spicy, but you know, sour. That's the word I was looking for. So just keep doing it until you get a non-sour taste. Now we're going to go ahead and sweeten it up with that sugar water mixture that we made before. So go ahead and pour it in, being careful that you don't over sweeten it. Just go ahead and make sure you taste it to make sure that it's good. And that's it. That's so easy. That's pretty much how you make homemade lemonade. And I love this recipe because it's so much better for you than store-bought lemonades that contain high fructose corn syrup and other bad stuff in them. So this is way healthier comparatively, and I just think it's super delicious. This next recipe is super delicious. We are just making some homemade smoothies. So for this, you're just going to need some yogurt, some berries. I'm using strawberries, raspberries, and blueberries, but you can use whatever you have in your house. You're also going to need some ice and some sort of liquid. I'm using coconut milk, but I've also used orange juice in the past, and that's super delicious. And you're going to need some honey or agave. Then go ahead and place all of that into your blender, and there's no specific measurements, but if you want your smoothie to be more thick, then add in more berries and more ice, and if you want it to be less thick, then add in more of your liquid. Next, go ahead and just blend it up, and you're done. That's it. It's super easy to make, and it's so delicious. I have these all the time as just a snack. It's that good. And these make really, really good artsy Instagram or Tumblr pictures, just saying. And that's it. Next, we are going to be making some kale chips, and these are really easy. All you're going to need is some kale, some oil, and some salt. So go ahead and start by preheating your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and then line a baking sheet with some parchment paper. And now you're just going to go ahead and take your kale and start ripping it into like these little pieces like I'm showing you right here. And then you're going to go ahead and kind of like lay them out, kind of like spread out on the parchment paper baking sheet until you think that you have enough. And then go ahead and coat all of that with some oil. Now I'm just going back and kind of making sure that every piece of kale has a good amount of oil onto it before moving on to sprinkling the salt onto it. Next, go ahead and place into your oven for 10 minutes. up, you can go ahead and remove it from the oven and make sure you let it cool before you place it into any kind of bowl because it will be hot. And that's it. These are really easy and they're the only way that I will eat kale because they're so delicious. So this next recipe I'm going to show you is some yummy homemade hummus. So for this you're just going to need some chickpeas, some sesame paste, some garlic, some lemon juice, some salt, and some water. So basically, you're going to put all of this into your food processor. So put in a whole can of chickpeas, a good spoonful of sesame paste. I ended up doing 2 smaller spoonfuls because it was not working out, you see. You're also going to put in a small spoonful of garlic, a pinch of salt, a splash of lemon juice, and a little bit of water. Then go ahead and blend everything all up. Now it might get really thick, and at this point you can add a little bit more water if you want it to be a little bit thinner. Which you can see I'm doing right now. And you may also need to stop it and scrape down the sides, and it should look like this. And that's it, you're done. Now, you can't have hummus without anything to dip into it, so today I'm going to show you also how to make some pita chips. So all you're going to need is like one of those little pita things, and all I'm doing is taking my kitchen kitchen scissors, and cutting around the edges, and you will see why in a second. And I just ate a little bit of the edges because they're really good. And then you're going to go ahead and take that circle and cut it into halves. And then you're going to cut those halves into thirds so that you have 6 pieces in total. Then you're going to go ahead and peel those pieces apart because there should be 2 layers. So then you'll end up with 12 total pita chip pieces. Next, go ahead and squirt a little bit of oil onto every single pita chip, and then use a brush to kind of make sure the oil is evenly coating everything, and then sprinkle a little bit of salt. This recipe is basically like kale chips, but with pita chips. Go ahead and place into your oven at 350 degrees for 7 minutes, and you're going to want to go ahead and let everything cool before you touch it. So I just had a dance party while I waited for it to cool.
Build a snowman. Come on, let's go and play. I never see you.
So once everything is cooled down, you can go ahead and place all your pita chips into a bowl. And then you can also place your hummus into a bowl and you can serve them together. And that's it. This is a really, really, really delicious snack that I love to have in the summer. It's just so yummy, and I think that the pita chips just taste so good dipped in the hummus. But if you don't like pita chips, you can also dip in pretzels or anything else. So for the final recipe, we are going to be making some homemade granola bars, and for this you're just going to need some oatmeal, some butter, some maple syrup, some wheat germ, vanilla extract, ground cinnamon, honey or agave, brown sugar, salt, and you're also going to need some stuff to mix into it. So I'm just using chia seeds and coconut flakes, but you can also use stuff like craisins, chocolate chips, and nuts. First, start off by grabbing an 8 by 12 inch baking pan and go ahead and grab some butter, just about the amount that I'm showing you here, and place it into a bowl. And yes, I messed up the bowl, but I picked it up with clean washed hands, so it's okay. And then you're gonna go ahead and place that into the oven, or not oven, microwave for 30 seconds. So once 30 seconds is up, you can go ahead and use a brush with the butter to coat the pan so that the granola bars won't stick to it when we bake them. Go ahead and find yourself another oven-safe bowl, and in this, we're going to go ahead and place our oats. So measure out 2 cups of oats. I broke mine down into 1.5 cups of full oats and then 1/2 cup of ground oats. So you're also going to want to add in your coconut flakes if you are using those, and nuts if you are using those, which I am not. And then you're going to go ahead and stir it around and place into your oven at 350 degrees for 5 minutes. And once that 5 minutes is up, take it out and stir it around a little bit and then place it back into the oven for 5 more minutes. So once this mixture is finally done cooking, you can go ahead and remove it from your oven and pour it into a mixing bowl. Add in 1/2 cup of roasted wheat germ. And mix it in. Once you're done mixing, you can go ahead and place that aside and go ahead and grab a saucepan. And in this, you're going to add 3 tablespoons of butter, 1/3 cup of agave or honey, a 1/3 cup of maple syrup, a 1/4 cup of brown sugar, a pinch of salt, and 1.5 tablespoons of vanilla extract. Go ahead and place that onto your stove top and wait for it to boil. When it's boiling, it should look like this, and just let it boil for about a minute before removing it from the heat. So once it's done boiling, remove it from the heat and pour it over that oat and wheat germ mixture that we made before, and then stir it all together. Once it's mixed in, you can go ahead and add in your mix-ins like chia seeds and nuts, and go ahead and mix those in as well. Then place into your buttered pan that we had buttered in the very beginning, and go ahead and push it down. I'm using a cup to push it down because I want it to be very, very packed so that it will make the granola bar shapes. And then go ahead and place it into your oven. I don't have a video of me placing it in the oven, but here's a video of me taking it out of the oven. And once you take it out of the oven, it will be hot, so place it into your freezer to let it cool down before you cut any granola bars. And once it's nice and easy to cut from, go ahead and do that. And I use 3 different tools. I use this kind of like this, whatever I'm using here. I use like a legit knife, and then I use some other tools. But I just would say use whatever works for you. And once you cut them all out, you're done. And that's it. These are so much better for you than any other processed foods that you might get at the grocery store, which have high fructose corn syrup and a ton of chemicals in them. And these are so good.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Give this video a thumbs up if you want to see more cooking videos. Comment down below any other suggestions. I'm thinking I might do like a DIY picnic. I think that sounds super fun. Like I said, give it a thumbs up, comment, and subscribe. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in my next video. This is so hard. Bye!